Bernie Sanders needs to grow a spine. Now, if you guys didn't know, I used to be a Bernie Sanders supporter back in 2016. Why did I stop being a Bernie Sanders supporter? Because he ended up endorsing Hillary Clinton. Now, Bernie Sanders was no fan of Hillary Clinton. I actually liked the message that Sanders was proposing, fighting off Democratic establishment. But when I started seeing that in 2016, the DNC, especially under Debbie Wasserman Schultz, when the DNC was rigging everything against Bernie, trying to prop up Hillary, I got really furious. But Bernie was giving Hillary a good fight anyways. He was making her look bad. And I liked that. And then the moment came where they announced the nominee for the Democratic Party. Bernie endorsed Hillary Clinton. That moment right there was the moment where I said, you know what, Bernie, you betrayed your supporters. I'm done with you. I'm not going to support you anymore. Whatever happens to you, I wish you good luck. But don't count on me if you choose to run again in 2020. Comes 2020, and I refuse to support Bernie Sanders. Not because not because he's in favor of minorities, I don't know, but because the last time he betrayed his supporters by endorsing Hillary, saying he would never do it, and yet now and now you expect me to trust him after that. Not really. I'm not gonna trust him whatsoever. But there's an old joke that says that if Donald Trump were to say, I think it was like, if Donald Trump were to speak in favor of air or oxygen, the Democrats would hold their breath. And anyways, the joke pretty much sums it up in the sense that whatever Trump does, it is bad. Look at what happened when it came to pulling off troops from Syria. Democrats, who were anti-war, apparently, that's what they say, they're anti-war now, but when Trump pulls troops from Syria, it's bad. When Trump takes out Soleimani, it's bad. Everything Trump does is bad. So Trump, seeing this, he's not stupid, by the way, he sees it and he says, you know what, fine. Let's talk about impeachment. I'm going to call it impeachment for what it is, and that is rigging it against Bernie Sanders. And what does Bernie do? He says that Trump is the reason why, he says that Trump is the reason why his election, his road to winning the nomination is rigged because of Trump. And I'm thinking, dude, you need to grow a spine. Because here's the thing. When it was clear that when Bernie was calling out the corruption in the DNC and back in 2016, I was thinking, yeah, good on it, call it out, call it out. But the moment he lost, like he didn't even call it out. He supported Hillary, no joke. Literally, here's the thing. Look, Bernie Sanders back in 2016 from NBC News. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton not qualified to be president. Next thing you know, he endorses her the moment he loses. Why? Because apparently beating Trump is more important than your principle, than your foundation, right? Apparently that's more important to Sanders. When it comes to Trump, why is it that Trump stands up for Bernie more than Bernie does? Why is that? You can hate Trump on everything he does. You can say that his character is bad, and I'll agree with you there. I think that Trump has a really bad character. But at least Trump is willing to stand up for himself and at least stand up for the country. Because think about it. If Bernie Sanders can't even stand up for himself when he's being falsely smeared, I'm not going to literally, falsely smeared by CNN. Literally, the debate from like last week was a huge, not last week, but on Tuesday. It was a huge disaster. Right? CNN clearly went after Bernie. They literally rigged everything against Bernie. And what does Bernie do? He says Trump is to blame. And I'm thinking, dude, grow a spine. Trump is literally calling it out. He's literally saying that the DNC is rigging the election against Bernie again. And what does Bernie do? Oh, it's because of Trump. Trump is wrong. And I'm thinking, dude, you need to grow a spine. Because think about it. If Bernie doesn't have the guts to stand up for himself when he's being attacked, you really think he's going to have the guts to stand up for himself when our country is being threatened, or to other global leaders? No, he's not going to stand up for them. There was even another video too when he was having a speech, and there was like some Black Lives Matter activists where they literally went up the stage, took the mic away from Bernie, and you want to know what Bernie did? He just stepped back. He was like, okay, fine. If he cannot stand up to everyday Americans, to his political enemies, not enemies, but his political opponents like Elizabeth Warren, you expect him to stand up to people like Vladimir Putin? Do you expect Bernie to stand up to China? Really? That's the problem that I have with Bernie, is that even though I don't agree with him, that guy doesn't stand up for himself. He doesn't have a spine. Grow a spine, man. And if you're a Bernie supporter, you guys might hate me for that. But I see it, I say it like it is. Bernie Sanders didn't stand up for his principles back in 2016, and he's not doing it again in this election season. What is that? Trump is standing up for Bernie when Bernie can't even stand up for himself. And you guys say Trump is bad, whatever, but even Trump is calling it like it is. He even says that impeachment is just a way to get Bernie off the campaign trail. I'm sorry, because the establishment doesn't want Bernie. I don't agree with Bernie, but at least the DNC would have some sort of honor and say, you know what? Let the Democratic field choose their candidate. But no, the Democrats say, you know what? No, we think our constituents are dumb. We're gonna push our candidate on them and convince them that Joe Biden is the person that they want. When in reality, it's not the case. Okay, but anyways, let's read what Bernie has to say. From Common Dreams, it reads, let's be clear about who is rigging what. Bernie Sanders denounces Trump's effort to divide Democrats. 2020 candidate has says only reason for impeachment trial is the president's effort to use the power of the federal government for his own political benefit. And there you go. That right there shows you that no matter no matter what Trump does, the Democrats will come out and be against it. If Trump tomorrow were to say, I will dedicate my administration to curing cancer, Democrats, I guarantee you, would say, did you know cancer is good? Cancer is actually good for you, yada, yada, yada. Whatever Trump does, it is bad. You can never satisfy the Democrats, and Trump knows this. He knows this, and what does he do? He calls that impeachment. He says, you know what, Bernie, they're rigging it against you. They're rigging it against Bernie. Impeachment is a huge problem, and it's literally screwing over Bernie. And Bernie says that's not true. It's Trump's fault that Democrats are divided. I'm thinking, dude, you need to stand up for yourself. But anyways, enough of me ranting. Let's read a little bit of this article. After President Donald Trump earlier in the day accused Democrats in Congress of rigging the election against Bernie Sanders, the 2020 presidential candidate shot back Friday evening to say the president's effort to divide Democrats would be unsuccessful. Why are you blaming Trump for that? The DNC screwed you over in 2016, Bernie. Why can't you admit it then? You were literally saying that Hillary Clinton was not fit to be president, and all of a sudden you endorse her after you lose? Even then, here's the thing. Back in 2016, the first time that I actually agreed with Trump on anything was when he said this tweet back in 2016 on July 12th, to be precise. No, and it's from Donald Trump. It reads, I am somewhat surprised that Bernie Sanders was not true to himself and his supporters. They are not happy that he is selling out. That's the first time I agree with Trump on anything. Right? That's the first time I agree with him on anything. I did feel that way. I was not happy that he sold out. And then he actually tweeted out, I think he actually tweeted out later, I think. It's from like 6:30, yeah, this from later, from 1 p.m. Another one, which I agree with, says Bernie Sanders has abandoned his supporters by endorsing pro-war, pro-TPP, pro-Wall Street crooked Hillary Clinton. And that right there was the second time I agree with him. Back in 2016, before I even said, you know what, I'm going to support the president. No, that's the moment I agree. That's the second time I agree with Trump on anything. That Bernie Sanders had abandoned his supporters, people like me, because he believes that President Trump is more important than his actual principles. Why can't Bernie realize that he's being cheated out of the nomination again? And instead of actually calling out the establishment of the Democrats, why does he have to go against Trump on everything? Why? Because the Democrats, in this case, the Democratic field, the ones that are, at least the ones that are completely devoid of any common sense, I'm talking about the leftists, they believe that anything Trump does is bad. And Bernie's pandering to those people. But what about the moderates? You don't think Bernie's actions are going to be used against Trump? Are going to be used against him? Here's the thing. Imagine Bernie does win the nomination, some miracle, and what does Trump do? That's more fuel to the fire for Trump, right? Trump will say, "Well, Bernie Sanders, he says he's trustworthy, but when Hillary Clinton won the nomination, instead of standing by his beliefs, Bernie decided to endorse crooked Hillary and therefore abandon his supporters. Unlike Bernie, I will never betray my supporters and I will never stab them in the back." I guarantee you, Trump will go that route. He will literally call out Bernie for his lack of the lack of trust. Like literally, Bernie doesn't have any trust. I don't see him as trustworthy in this case. He will literally call out Bernie Sanders for his lack of a spine. Like, I can just picture it now. When Bernie Sanders is being smeared by the fake news media and by the DNC, unlike him, I actually stood up for him, but apparently Bernie can't stand up for himself. So I ask you this, America. Would you elect a president that cannot even stand up for himself? How do you expect him to stand up to countries like China and Russia? I guarantee you he will go that route. Bernie Sanders needs to grow a spine. And with this going on, I can tell this guy's not going to win. He deserves to lose. If he doesn't want to stand up for himself, I do not trust him to stand up for the country. Anyways, let's get going. In a tweet, Trump said it was very unfair to make Sanders stop campaigning in the weeks prior to the first primary election, but that's the way the Democrats play the game. In any event, Trump, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I agree with that too. It's really fun to see the Democrats go at each other. And then there's a tweet from Bernie. Let's be clear about who is rigging what. It is Donald Trump's action to use the power of the federal government for his own political benefit. That is the cause of the impeachment trial. Democrats are going to unite to sweep him out of the White House in November. Right. And then there's a tweet from Donald Trump. So actually, I guess he replied to Donald Trump apparently. I don't know. But anyways, from Donald Trump, his tweet said they're rigging the election again against Bernie Sanders, just like last time. Only even more obviously, they're bringing him out of so important Iowa in order that as senator he sit through the impeachment hoax trial. Crazy Nancy thereby gives a strong edge to sleepy Joe Biden. It's pretty funny. Not gonna lie. But even then, even another tweet from Ilhan Omar says, "Don't worry about Bernie. While he fulfills his oath in the Senate, we will stump for him in Iowa." Right, because apparently Ilhan Omar, she acts like she's not going to be running. She's not going to be running for re-election in 2020. Guess what? She will. I'm pretty sure she's going to be focused more on her campaign than Bernie Sanders. But like I said, Bernie Sanders needs to grow a spine. One thing that pissed me off back in 2016 was when Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Clinton. That for me was like a stab in the back. I supported this guy. I actually donated money to the guy. Not gonna lie, my first actual donation was to Bernie Sanders. But the moment Bernie Sanders ended up endorsing Hillary Clinton, I was like, you know what, dude, I'm done. You stabbed me in the back. I supported you because I thought you had principles and you could actually stand up for yourself. But you know what? It's clear that you can't. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys surprised that Bernie Sanders is not going against Trump the moment Trump starts calling out the DNC? Are you guys surprised that Bernie Sanders doesn't have a spine? Because I think he doesn't. And here's the thing. If you're a Bernie supporter, I want to ask you this question in all seriousness. If Bernie can't stand up for himself, do you really trust him to stand up for the country? I'm just curious. Do you trust him with that? Because Bernie clearly, he can't stand up when people try to take away the mic from him. When the Black Lives Matter activists went off the stage and took the mic from him, Bernie just backed away. When they cheated him out of the nomination in 2016, Bernie said, okay, fine, whatever, and he endorses Hillary Clinton instead of calling out the nonsense that the DNC put him through back in 2016. And now that it's clear that the DNC and CNN and all the mainstream media, not specifically the liberal media, I want to say liberal, the left-leaning media, that's a little bit more accurate. When they're rigging it against Bernie Sanders doesn't stand up for himself. Like I said, I'll ask you again. If Bernie can't stand up for himself, how do you expect him to stand up for the country? Trump might have bad character, and I'll give you that. And Bernie supporters, Democrats, liberals, if you're watching this video, I'll give you that. Trump has a really bad character. But one thing that you cannot deny is that he stands up for himself, and he will stand up for the country. You look at the constant smearing of Democrats. While the Democrats in the last few years have been going after Trump, Trump just stands up for himself, and I gotta respect that. Because the moment you're able to stand up for yourself, it shows me that you can stand up for the country. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think Bernie needs to grow a spine? Do you think Bernie needs to stand up for himself? And do you believe in the idea that if Trump does something, it's automatically bad to the Democrats, regardless of what he does? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe, hit the notifications with all notifications, because apparently even when you hit the bell, sometimes it'll only select some notifications. You might want to hit all, that way you never miss an upload. But again, let me know in the comment section below in regards to what's going on in this situation. Do you think Bernie needs to stand up for himself? Yes or no? I'll see you guys next time.